Hello, I'm Darren Walsh. I'm here at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival and I'm joined by Callie Beaton. Hello, Callie.
Hi.
Would you like to answer some of my questions?
I'd absolutely love to. That's why I'm here.
Great,
Yes.
okay. What's your funniest Fringe experience?
My funniest Fringe experience was actually Hastings Fringe, which I know is not where we are, but I was doing an outside gig and these kids were up on a sort of balustrade above the stage. A balustrade, I don't know if that's a thing, like a balcony.
A balustrade?
Yeah, it was an ornate seaside balcony in Hastings.
Right.
We can Google it afterwards. And they started throwing paper planes down to the stage with messages on, and I started reading them out. And then one of the planes came down and it said, "Don't give up," and I read it out and I was like, oh. And then the next one came down and it said, "Your day job."
Oh no!
Yeah. So
someone said that to me once.
Did they?
At the show, yeah. There's no punchline there, it's just really depressing.
Via the means of a paper plane or
no.
just... Oh, okay, so I think,
yeah,
I see your story, I raise you my paper planes.
Yeah. That's much better. In a nutshell, how has your Fringe show evolved?
I've been doing it for nearly a year, so I started doing it at the Camden Fringe last year, and probably like everyone, it's completely different to how it started. So It's got some jokes in now, it's got a structure, all of which came together about 2 weeks before coming up here, obviously having had the 11 and a half months thinking about doing those things. So yeah, probably the same way as most people's. Panic, desperation and a deadline.
Yeah. I often find you do your best work at the last minute then.
Yeah, on the train, on the way
Yeah. That's why I wrote half my show, I'm still writing it.
Yes.
So you did the Camden Fringe last year, this show?
It wasn't called this and it wasn't this.
Oh, so you did a work in progress at the Camden Fringe?
Yeah, but called something else, and that I thought was going to be this year's Edinburgh show, and then ended up doing more work in progress shows of another show with another title, and Invisible, this show, was born out of, there was a French B-list celebrity in January who made the headlines when he said that a 50-year-old woman is invisible. I turned 50 soon after. So it's really a kind of, am I allowed to swear on this? An FU to that man, and a kind of subversion of what people sometimes, I get a bit underestimated sometimes.
So you're 50?
So I'm 50.
You're looking pretty good for 50.
Amazing. I'm going to take that as not flirting because we're on camera.
That's right, yeah.
Good. That's good to clear that up. Yeah, no, thank you.
You're welcome.
It'd be kind of awkward if you said only 50.
I thought you were 60, yeah.
That would be, so thank you for that.
So when you did your Camden Fringe show, was it listed as work in progress, or just had a different title?
No, it was always been work in progress right up until it wasn't, which was here. So I've done it all over the place. I've done all the different usual suspect fringes with it as a work in progress.
And what venue are you in?
I'm at the Assembly, George Square Studios.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so really nice.
Yeah, how are you finding that really?
I like it a lot, yes.
Excellent.
It's got, although it does feel a bit lecture theatre-ish, but it is a lecture theatre. So it needs a bit of an injection of stand-up into it as soon as I get on, but it's nice.
Maybe people will throw planes at you again.
Maybe. I've asked for it. It's in my rider with the blue M&Ms.
Right.
Which just hasn't
Maybe you've got that teacher vibe.
Yeah, I am the daughter of 2 teachers.
Are you?
Yeah, it's in my show. Yeah, they taught at a boys' school and they sent me to the boys' school. Yeah.
Hang on, so you went to a boys' school?
I went to a boys' school.
Right. Just were you the
Nothing
only girl?
to see here, everything's fine. Yeah, I was the only girl. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm used to sort of being an outsider.
Yeah, that's very strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very strange. Yeah.
Okay, next question. How did you begin your comedy career?
Am I alright to drop a clunking great name here? I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
I worked at Comedy Central for years, Comedy Central US, and off camera, and I got to know Joan Rivers quite well when I was working there, and I introed her at a few different events, and we had dinner on her last night where we were travelling around the world, and she said, you should try stand-up. And I said, I'm 45, I've got 2 kids, I'm a single parent, big job, it's too late. She said, I'm 81, you're going to look back at being 45 and think, why didn't I? And that was 5 years ago. So yeah, thanks to her, I did my first ever gig.
Joan Rivers told you to do stand-up.
Joan Rivers told me to do stand-up, and she's dead now, so she can't dispute this story. It's completely safe.
Wow.
But no, she actually did.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's going to be hard to top today. I think.
Well, if it is a competition, I'd like to have won with that story.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's a really good story. What has been the biggest boost in your comedy career? Probably Joan Rivers?
Well, no, because all she did was get me on stage, and obviously she didn't make me any good. I mean, I'd love to say I was like a duck to water, and it was amazing, but that would be lying. So yes, well, thanks to her, I started doing it, and I guess probably so far I've done QI a couple of times, which definitely hasn't hurt my comedy career.
Right.
So yeah, and that plays to. It's funny doing those panel shows because I've been a sort of woman in boardrooms a lot of my life, so often the only woman with a lot of loud, opinionated men. And
Right.
I do think that's quite a good experience for panel shows. I reckon
Yes.
it's helped me loads.
Yes, it's a bit of a bear pit, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sometimes.
yeah. So I can wave my metaphorical willy as
Yes.
well as anyone can.
I'm sure you
Yes.
can. So with QI, do you have to have a lot of, this is maybe a stupid question, do you need to have a lot of knowledge to...
Well, I hope to not, because I'm the world's worst pub quizzer, so I'm sort of,
Same here.
sort of terrible, like famed for being so bad. I said, no, actually the worst thing you can do on QI is get the answer right, because then there's no bounce. So if somebody comes storming and goes, oh yes, I know that was,
Right.
Henry VIII, then that's kind of like, okay, next question. So the only thing they tell you by way of a briefing is don't go slamming in with the right answer if you know it.
Right.
I thought you really don't need to worry about me ever doing that,
Right,
because I
right.
definitely won't know it. So no, the thing I did, I took it like a board meeting, apart from with humour. I thought I'm just going to say something and get myself heard, and then I'll make the edit, and if other people do the funny, that's fine. So yeah, I just talked loads.
Brilliant. So it's kind of like the antithesis of Mark Lamar on Shooting Stars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
Exactly.
he always got the answers, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. It's the absolute opposite. Don't get the answers right. So for non-pub quizzes, such as us, lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, finally, actually not finally, penultimately, what plans do you have for the future?
Well, I'm doing radio is my big focus. Having worked in telly all my life, it's lovely to do some, but I'm not enamoured with the idea of getting to be remotely known for doing television, and it's quite hard as a 50-year-old to break into television. So through pragmatism and what I'm more interested in, I've got a few radio projects that I'm hoping something will get away. I won't say more than that. So radio and live, love to do more with
Does
this
it end
show.
in 4?
Well, I think my demographic probably kind of 4 is where I think we'd be aiming. I've done a bit of stuff for Radio 4 already, but I'd love to do more. I've got a really lovely podcast that I think we're going to be doing. And I'm also really hoping the show will carry on beyond Edinburgh, and that I'll be able to do some bits of touring and
tour it a bit,
and set my cap at a couple of the usual places where
Yeah.
we'd all like our shows to be seen. So I'm hoping this isn't the end of it.
Yeah. I think radio's it's almost more exciting for comedy at the moment, isn't it?
There's a lot of people are taking risks, and I personally, I just listen to radio and podcasts all the time. I very rarely watch telly. So for me, it's kind of, I kind of get it, and I love what's going on. And most of my inspiration and role models are doing audio stuff now rather than visual.
Because that's how the League of Gentlemen started off, didn't they?
Yeah.
And Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, loads of good stuff, and loads of the stuff that we used to commission and Comedy Central in the US started out in audio form, and then maybe ended up online, and finally got a broadcast commission. So I'm really interested by that sort of journey, especially if I can be on the journey, not just watching it. That would be ideal.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, and finally, how do you create your comedy?
That is a very good question. In terms of ideas, I think there's an advantage to being a bit of an older person, because lots has happened, so I'm not short of material to draw on. I'm really bad at sitting down writing. I have a bit of a lack of confidence that I can do it. I kind of suffer from imposter syndrome on epic levels anyway, but particularly with writing. Most of my funniest stuff definitely comes from working through a not well written premise on stage that becomes funny because of what happens in the room.
Right, yeah.
And I do lots of emceeing as well. So I definitely, my best gags in this show have all come out of performing the show. I don't really have I'm reasonably disciplined about writing, but I don't think I have a spark of great writing genius. I think mine all has to come from the alchemy in the room, really, which might be my way of saying I'm just too lazy to churn through
same here. I write the same way. If I sit in front of a laptop, nothing comes out really. It's usually
makes me panic.
So it's just usually as I'm walking around, things pop in my head.
Same
on
thing.
Stage,
And after I come off stage, I find that's a time, if I'm ever going to have any flashes of brilliance, it will be when I come off stage, and that's not great for one's lifestyle. But I'll often write sort of very late at night, early hours, because just having been in a comedy environment, it's got me sort of thinking the right way. But 10 in the morning, don't often feel funny.
I often find the best time to come up with ideas is like within like an hour of coming off stage.
Yeah.
Because you have all these
That's
ideas
right,
in your head,
yeah.
and then you think, oh, I'll do all this tomorrow,
And then it's all
and
gone.
then you're not in the zone. Yeah.
No, I completely agree. I always, and if I'm driving back from a gig, I will record ideas because I always think, I'll write them once I get out of the car.
Yeah.
And then I've always forgotten them, so I know. You know what it's like. It seems so obvious, the funny thing.
I know.
And
Yeah.
then it's completely not obvious the next day. So yeah, similar. So it's a combination between lazy or very talented because I write live. Let's go with the latter.
Yeah, let's go with the latter. Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, well that's been it. Colour Beaton, thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Thank you.